Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Greenlight podcast for Muslim Basketball PA.
Season 2.
Season 2. Much anticipated. Our apologies for missing week 1 and 2. We were a little busy with some family commitments, but inshallah we're back for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, sounds good. We're going to, really quickly, we're going to skip the first 2 weeks. We're not going to analyze those games, but we are going to start by looking at the standings to see where everyone's at and what everything's looking at, and then we'll look at each game individually and see how everyone did last week, okay? So, in first place, 3-0 on a 3-game win streak.
Yeah, let's go to second place.
First place is Rafah. That's us for Haad's team.
Yeah.
Hard not to be in first place when you have a team this good.
Second place is Ramla. That's Ayan's team. They started out a little slow in week 1. They got the win, but it was like super tight, and they've just sort of snowballed from then. They have some good chemistry. They've been playing really well together. The whole team is really showing up top to bottom. They've done really well. So congrats to them, 3-0. Third place, Sheikh Jarrah. That's Mon'im's team. That's the Mo fence. They just suffered their first loss to Ramla, but they're a strong team.
2-1.
2-1. They're looking pretty impressive thus far. Fourth place, Deir Yassin. This is Osman's team. They just got a win over us last week. They've had some incredible performances from Tejan and from 50 as well. Yassin, he's been doing really well.
Yeah. Fifth place we have Janine. That's your team.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Lod, led by King James of Lod.
King James.
1 and 2. And then in last place, tied for last on a 3-game losing streak, we have Gaza and El Khalil. That's L's team and Captain
team.
Anwar. But honestly, excuse me, looking at the standings, everything is about as level as you could imagine, right? 3-0, 3-0, 2-1, 2-1.
It's a little too early
2-1,
to really
2,
tell
0-3,
who's going to be where, 3 games in. You're 1/3 of the way through the season. So,
yeah, long season, plenty of time for things to change.
Yep.
Probably not change at the top, but change a little bit beneath the top. Okay.
I'm hoping.
Let's look at game 1 from Saturday. We have Lod versus Gaza. That's James versus Captain L. Game ended 62-46 for Lod.
Yeah, this felt like a must-win for Lod. They were down 0-2 coming into this week. You could sense that there was a little bit of frustration from the team. I think everyone kind of knows that they have a lot of talent. It's just about finding ways to put guys in the right places, right? So this week they did a really good job. I know James made some big adjustments, specifically with Idris, and it really showed because he had a huge performance, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 7 steals.
Very hard to not give that guy player of the week.
Yeah.
He had a fantastic
Cody
game.
had a great game as well. I thought James did well. Really, the whole team came out and performed. Joe had his first game. So, we're going to look to see what he can do down the line. I know him. I know that he's a good shooter. I think he just was getting his feet wet first game.
Sure.
First game jitters. So
This is CEO Joe.
this is CEO Joe.
CEO Joe.
CEO Joe.
Detective Cody Banks.
Detective Cody Banks.
Idris settles. James. Honestly, something I see that I always like to point this out. Everyone on the team contributed something to the points.
Yeah.
Right? Vic got his point from his free throw. Good for you, Vic.
Shout out to Vic.
Glad to see you getting. Every week, Vic looks a little bit more comfortable on his team.
100%.
I'm happy to see that.
Yeah.
Sad Kershid, 6 points. CEO Joe 5. James L. Idris 25.
Yeah.
Detective Cody Banks 14. I think it was a good performance by them. I think that they pulled it together. Another thing that you have to keep in mind is they're still missing Manveer.
Oh yeah, they were missing Manveer.
We're not sure.
This week.
Listen, I've played a lot with Manveer pickup, and he's a pickup. He's great at. He's a great rebounder. Tall guy, very he's a little skinny, but really strong. So it's like deceptively strong.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see because I think that was a big piece that they're missing. That they've been missing for the last few weeks is rebounding. They had 34 rebounds while Reza had 38. Still not bad for rebounds, but I think having that extra piece will be really useful for them.
Yeah, I'm impressed with their rebounding performance this week
For
against a
sure.
team that has a lot of good rebounders. This is also a cool game because there was a trade made. Justin Downs was sent with, I think, Afzal to
Oh, yes.
Reza, and in return they got Vic and Manveer. So this was sort of a revenge game for Justin Downs. He had 14. Wakas is having a quietly very good season. He went out, he did his thing. 7 for
9
14.
rebounds, 14 points.
El did his thing as well. El missed a couple layups early in the game. I watched back. I wasn't there in the gym, but I watched it back on film. A couple easy layups. Could have been the difference. I know, like, they ended up losing by 16, but those can be big swings in the beginning, right? Missing a couple open layups. So I know
Sure.
El's gonna pick it up and find a way to make this season count.
Definitely, you can never count L out. He's
Yeah.
the most winning player in NBPA history.
History,
He has the most rings. He's holding the record right now with 3 rings every single season.
He's that dude.
Every single season he goes to the finals, so you cannot ever count him out. You can't count his IQ out. I still have a lot of faith in this team. I think that there's a lot of expectation on L's team for El as a captain based on how they played last season, right? Because he had such a good role on that team. But you mentioned it the other day. That was like their perfect storm, right? All of those guys just fit that puzzle really perfectly. So it's kind of hard to not have that expectation of them again this season. But I think they're just still figuring things out. It's early in the season. The team is really well built. I think they're just I think that we're just seeing everyone find their place. We're seeing where Wakas fits into everything, where David fits into everything, how El fits in. Justin Downs is a point guard who often needs the ball to do his thing, and so a lot of the guys on this offense need the ball to do their thing, and so they're just finding their piece to the puzzle and how they fit in. But again, not counting this team out, I think that we'll see great things from them, and
They got
maybe
a lot
this
of
was
guys
their
who know how to turn it up when it matters. So.
for sure. Also, shout out to Ahmar. I feel like he's doing all right.
You can see his confidence has gone up a lot this season.
I think
Definitely.
last week actually he was, last week he was kind of it was week 1 cashing out 11 points,
Yeah,
4 for 8,
you can tell his confidence.
2 for 4 from the 3.
For sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
Keep that up.
Let's move on to game 2. This was a fun game. Ramla versus Sheikh Jarrah.
This was the game where Ian, now dubbed Hean,
Yeah, Hean.
absolutely put some children into the
Blender.
blender, into the spin cycle, and honestly, it was a really nice game to watch.
It was a fun game to watch. So
Very
obviously,
exciting.
Monerm's team is built around the Mo fence. Kia has had an insane season. I think he's averaging like 34 points or something. And he actually had a really good game still, 10 for 24. That's like a career day for most guys in the league.
For sure.
But Kia holds himself to a different standard, and
Get up.
he felt that he didn't do enough out there, having spoken to him. And he also gave a lot of credit to Ramla, and I give a lot of credit to them too. They played great defense. They had a good strategy coming in. They were confident, and they did their thing out there, man. Don't let the stats fool you on some of these guys. Ian struggled a little bit from the field, but I made the call in the predictions at the beginning of the season that Ian was probably the best passer in the league.
And he definitely showed it.
And
He definitely showed it.
he's been showing it.
He actually said in the I think it was one of the interviews with 50 that I forget exactly what it was that he said, but I know that he did say when it comes to the pace of the game for his team, he is the guy who controls the pace, and
He's shown that.
he's the guy who controls the pace for that team, and you'd be hard pressed to find anyone who would look at that team and not say that Ian is really like he can slow the game down and he can make sure that the ball is going to the guys that need to get the ball. I mean, Ayan had 19, Chris
Maz had 19.
Maz had
Shout out
19,
to those
Chris had
boys.
15. Ian still put up 3 with all the ball handling that he was doing and passing that he was doing. He still managed to get his points.
Yeah, Chris has been a bright addition to this team. He's been he's really an anchor on defense, and he's a super high IQ guy on offense. He moves the ball really well. He's confident, and he's really in control when he plays. This team is really strong, honestly.
I agree.
Amr didn't score this game, but I've been watching him play, and I've been looking at his stats, and he's been having a pretty solid season. And Amr does all the dirty work too.
I was gonna say I played with
that's what he
Amr.
does.
I played with Amr last season. We called him Batman because he does a lot of the dirty work to protect the team and to keep them safe and to make sure
That's why
that
you called him Batman, or was the face mask?
it was the face mask was part of it.
Okay.
But when we needed it, he stepped up, and Amr's that guy. So you
Yeah.
can't ever count him out. Hamza, he was just added to the team. I think this was his first week.
This was his first week, yeah.
He was supposed to play last week, but due to an alarm issue, I don't know that he made it.
Oh, he slept through?
I'm not saying anything.
No
the only
way.
reason I'm bringing that up is that AN is
crazy.
plagued with this issue where his team consistently has an alarm issue.
Because these guys are tired of playing. Get it? Tired of playing.
I have no thoughts. But he showed up. He got a rebound, got a steal, got a block. I felt like he was playing fine out there.
Yeah,
He just needs to find his footing. And I mean, I played a little bit. I didn't play a lot with him, but I did get a chance to play some 2-on-2 with him. He's got a great shot. He just needs to find where he fits on this team. Same thing with Haidar. I didn't see too much out of him, but I did see some hustle, and I'd like to see both of those guys, Haidar and Hamza, finding their role offensively on the team. Let's quickly look at Sheikh Jarrah. That's Monaim's team. You can't overlook Kia's 23-point performance. Omar Tarek, 7 points. Monaim had a quiet offensive day. Akbar.
Yeah, he's been having a crazy season.
I know Akbar is your guy. Week 1 or week 2, he was drilling threes.
Yep. He was cooking.
Dion, honestly, I don't think his stats show how much he does for his team.
Well, he's a primary ball
fantastic
handler,
ball handler, very fantastic passing. He's got a really nice shot. Another guy that I think the stats aren't telling the story for.
Geis has been surprisingly possibly the best rebounder in the league
Which is crazy because Sully's playing.
I mean, Sully's been a little better, but the way that Geist works for his rebounds is crazy. If you watch him live or you watch the game film, he's getting rebounds that he has no right to get. He's been really impressive.
For sure.
Ismail struggled a little bit, but he's a unicorn. That guy can do everything on the court. So
I also want to
I know
point
he's gonna
out
come back
this
and
is Ismail's
good
season.
performance.
Ismail's season was cut short last season, and so we, as someone who's taken like a significant time off of basketball and then had to come back to it, I understand that that period of time where you're kind of like getting back in the groove of things. So I also think if you watch, he's playing fine.
Yeah, he's alright.
We're just
It's not
gonna.
a bad game. That's all.
Yeah. Good game. It was very exciting to watch. Respect to both teams.
Yeah.
Game 3.
Yeah, this is my team, Janine versus Osman's team.
Thoughts?
Um,
Thoughts on how Tejan absolutely. Actually, go ahead. Do what you gotta do.
I think we had a good strategy coming out. We didn't stick to the plan. We sort of faltered, and we opened up the door for them to. We actually started out ahead. I think we were up like 8-1 or something.
The game ended 45.
Yeah, they beat us.
59 for them. First half ended 27-30.
Yeah, we felt like we had a good control in the game. We started to change our game plan a bit, and they did a good job executing on some of the changes that we made, and we started getting kind of flat-footed and frustrated. We missed a lot of open jumpers. We weren't creating a lot of easy opportunities. Brother Othman had to leave at halftime, which hurt.
That hurts.
But, they played well. We didn't. That's really what it comes down to. We got to be better. I have to be better. 4 for 10 is just not going to cut it. Sully had a good day. Hakeem had an all right day, although I expect a lot more of Hakeem. I know that he can do more than that. So we just got to be better as a team. That's it. Credit to them. Tejan obviously had a crazy day. 28 points, 11 rebounds. I didn't guard him that much. Maybe I should have, but it just wasn't really in the strategy, which obviously strategy didn't work. But the possessions I did guard him, I thought I played solid defense, and he was still able to score on a lot of those possessions. He's tough. He's a good scorer. He's smart. He's bouncy. His second effort is better than his first, which is crazy. He's the definition of a pogo stick.
For sure. I mean, when we were watching, my dad actually stopped me and was like, "Who is this guy Tejan that's playing?" And I mean, like that's coming from a dad who basically doesn't watch basketball. But he was. I mean, even Bubba was like couldn't believe the bounce that Tajon has. Something about him is that it seems like he has extra time in the air, right, than the rest of the people. When he jumps in the air, he has enough time that while he's in the air, he can make in-air adjustments to
Yeah, he's got
to
good
get that
float.
bucket, which is really like
He's tough,
that's an
yeah.
elite athlete kind of trait.
Yeah, all their guys honestly performed really well. Like the stats don't particularly pop for some guys. I have to give a shout out to Sumer, who had 6 rebounds, which really killed us. A lot of those were offensive rebounds.
For sure.
Sunman had a good game. He was playing good defense, doing his thing. He knocked down a 3. They played well. Shout out to 50. He had an alright day, although he told me that it wasn't.
Shout
a good
out
day.
Mildred Soul Food.
Shout out to Mildred Soul
If you
Food.
haven't been there yet,
Yeah.
you need to give it a chance.
Yeah.
That food is fantastic.
Yeah. So
my quick
to them.
thoughts on the game. It was also another fun game to watch. Especially the first half was very close, very intense.
Yeah.
Guys like Ahmed and Hakeem, I felt like they were actually playing fine. They had good days. Maybe not their best days, but they still had good days. Shout out to Sully, 18 points. They're a tough team to. We played Usman's team week 1. They're a good team. It's hard to score against them. He still had his 18 and 12 rebounds.
Yeah. Yeah. Sully did all right.
Salim and Sultan, I see these two guys, especially offensively, still finding their role on the team, during offensive runs. Salim, I want to tell you, you have a fantastic shot. You need to trust yourself, set yourself, take those shots when you're open. You need to, and the shots will start falling. Same thing with Sultan. Both of you guys are great shooters. You guys just need to trust yourselves. Your team trusts you. Just take the good shots that are there for you. I've seen those guys have fantastic days in season and pickup. They're great players. Your team definitely will benefit a lot from having you hit some of those difficult shots. Looking at Usman Shah's team, I love to point it out. Everyone on the team scored. Pat, let's start at the top. 59. Nadim 5, Pat 6, Selman 5, Sumer 2, Tajon 28, Tayyib 2, Usman 2. Everyone's contributing. I love to see that. That means that, as much as Tajon is doing, he does have a supporting cast that's helping him as best as they can, and we'll see how long they can keep. This is not hate, but we'll see how long they can keep it up. Let's see how long maybe Tajon can continue to do most of the carrying for his team. I think that also Yassine is having a fantastic season. Not you.
Yeah,
I mean, yes, you're having a good season, but he's having
a great season.
He's having a great season, especially shooting wise. Him and Tajon definitely have that Bluetooth connection with each other.
Yeah. Good chemistry.
Also, I didn't mention you. I think this season you're getting your most points, right? Consistently, you're scoring. This is the most that you've scored. I like seeing that.
It doesn't really matter. I just want to
Okay,
win.
well, I can finish without you interrupting. I appreciate the humbleness, earning the VC points for a humble response, but I like seeing that you're scoring more because I feel like this is the player that a lot of us have seen out of you, and have known you can be, and we're finally seeing that out of you. Where I think your team definitely needs you to keep up the pace. And 11 for me is a career day. I know 11 for you maybe doesn't stand out, but I think you're playing well. Just keep it up, and if you can continue to trend upwards, your team's going to be like gold. Okay, last game of the day. Team Farhad versus Team Anwar.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on the sideline?
So it was a good game. Last week, Al Khalil had a really heartbreaking loss in overtime, and so I know they were hungry. There's always like when you face IJ's team, you always know that you're going to be in for a tough matchup. So I know that they probably had a bit of a chip on their shoulder, but they knew that it was going to be tough coming in. I thought they did all right. The reality is that Anwar is still sort of in a slump coming back from his ankle injury, so he hasn't really found his footing exactly on offense, and you can sort of tell when he's out there that he's starting to get back to his spots, but he's still sort of working back up, so it's always going to be hard to win when, in my opinion, Anwar is their best guy. It's always going to be hard to win when your best guy is still sort of finding his footing and getting back to 100%.
Sure.
Saad Qureshi has been good. This was a rough game for him, but I thought week one, and we played them week one, and I thought through the first 2 weeks that he's been a bright spot on this team. Mahid had an all right game. He was getting to his spots, but he was just missing a lot of layups. So I think if he just works a little bit on his finishing, he actually does a really good job getting to the spot, and he's a scrapper. So
I was gonna say I want to definitely shout out Mahid for a fantastic game. That dude was fighting for every single rebound, taking every shot that he had the chance to take. Yeah. I feel like he had a good day.
Qasim Ansari hit his. I think that's his first three. Maybe I'm wrong, but 1 for 1 from 3. I'd like to see him get some more shots.
Yeah, Corner Q got that shot.
Corner Q can shoot.
I like calling him Q-tip because he waxes the defense, bro. You gotta trust yourself. Take those shots when you're open. Take them, dude. You got that.
On the Rafah side, of course, IJ had a great day as always. There's nothing new about that.
I mean, he hit every single stat, and the only stat he doesn't have is in personal fouls.
Yeah, he even got a turnover. He's that good. Matt Lobsher had a huge day. Actually, in watching him, you could tell he was having a good day. The 20 points were tough 20 points. He was hitting mid-ranges, and it wasn't all just layups. There was a couple layups, but he was taking some tough shots, and he made him count. 16 rebounds. Shout out to Yusuf, 8 points. I'd like to see the efficiency go up a little bit. But,
for sure.
But, hey, I mean, you guys got the win. Ghost is somewhere here. Ghost had 11 points. Ghost is tough. I'm a huge fan of him. I just want to see him knock down a couple more of those shots. If his shot gets going, he's lethal. He's got a pretty good first step. He's crafty. So if he can get his shots start falling, he's going to be a problem for defenses to deal with. But, yeah, I mean, there's nothing really new here. Rafah is playing well as a team. They're led by IJ, and Farhad is the brains behind
it's a lot of brain.
The business. So, big head. A lot of brain.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
I mean, it's really hard to not. I mean, obviously you have to highlight IJ every single week. He has fantastic. Every day is a fantastic day for him, mashallah. But really highlighting Matt with 16 rebounds and 20 points. Matt really does do so much work on the court. He hits a lot of those quick mid ranges. Where he's like up at the top on the free throw line, and he catches it, turn right around and hit that. Fantastic shot for him, and it really showed.
Shout out to Omer.
Yeah, I was gonna say my boy Omer was making those quick layups that were right there. I like seeing that. I could have had better percentage on my shots, but I think I'm still kind of finding my shot, but not an excuse. I can be better. Overall, I feel like we played well. IJ definitely does. IJ and Farhad, I have to give the credit to Farhad too. IJ and Farhad together do a good job of putting us all in positions that we're happy with, and making sure that we're in the best position for us to be successful, which I appreciate a lot. It's good having two really strong leaders on the team. Looking at Anwar's team, Andy 7 points, Anwar 7, Mehed 13, Nabil 0. Both of the Qasims 3 points, Saad 9, Wase 8. I do get the vibe when you're playing them and when you're watching them that they're just kind of finding their footing still. It's still early in the season. This is Anwar's first time, and I don't know how long he told you, but it's been a long time since Anwar and Waqas haven't played together, and they really have that connection together. And so I think both of those guys are figuring out and learning how to play a part, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad thing. I think that when both of those dudes really settle in and get comfortable, we're going to see fantastic seasons out of both of them. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have anything. I mean, I feel like they played a good game. It's just, humble brag is it's kind of hard to. Farhad has built a strong team around a fantastic point guard. Probably the best point guard in the league right now. It's a daunting task to try to beat. To beat us. I think that from the beginning, you guys said, I think us and Kia's podcast both had the same reflection that this was going to be a difficult team to be, and I think it's showing. But, anyways, Anwar, I still believe in you. You are once my captain, always my captain. I love playing for you, and I have a lot of faith. I know what you can do. I know what you can do when you turn it on, and you'll find those jets.
Looking at the standings, I'm not worried at all about teams like Al Khalil and Gaza. Like, you know that Anwar and Wase and some of these guys will turn it up when they need to. And with Gaza, you know that L and AR and Waqas, they're going to turn it up when they need to.
I was going to say it's early in the season to be talking about playoffs, but
they're going to be fine.
Seeing those guys when it comes down to it and when it matters, like they turn it on.
They're going to be fine. Although you want to see them get some wins together, you want them to have good chemistry and a good, sense of momentum.
Sure.
And, being bottom of the leaderboard means you're going to have to play the toughest teams week one. So you want to see them get some wins together, but regardless, I have a good amount of faith in these guys that when it matters most, they're going to put it together and do what they need to do.
I agree. Let's look at some season stat leaders. Looking at points, in number 1 for points is the Mofent Kia with 32, averaging 32 points per game. Close second is IJ at 30, Taejon 28.7, Sully Jabber at 17, and Chris Correll?
Yeah, Correll, I think.
Correll at 16.5. Chris making himself known early on, even though he just joined the season. Rebounds, we have your man Sully and Taejon averaging about 15, and tied for first with 15. That's rebounds per. They're averaging 15 rebounds per game.
Yep.
Jacob Geist with 13.7, Iceman Andy Castanaro with 13, and Chris again with 12. Do you want to take assists and steals?
Yeah, tied in first. IJ and not surprising because I don't believe in him, but just it's crazy that L. Oh no, this is an assist. Sorry, no, that's not surprising. IJ and L are leading the league in assists. Chris, Ian, who I said again is one of the best passers. Geist, who I've been saying is a super underrated passer. He's got that football quarterback mindset. So, steals,
that dude throws the ball.
IJ, Kia, Idris, Maz, and Taejon in top 5. Those are really the significant ones.
Blocks and doubles.
Yeah.
Blocks, we have Chris, 2 blocks per game. IJ and Taejon tied at 1.7. Wase, our league's James Harden, 1.5, and David Barber at 1.3. No surprise there. Doubles, we have Sully with 3 doubles, Anwar with 2. Tied in second place, we have Anwar, Chris, and Taejon both tied with 2. And your man Ahmed AK with 1 double. Congratulations. Free throws, Taejon with 5, IJ and Tyler. Tyler, we are very sorry about your injury. Same thing with Dawood.
Yeah, get well soon.
Get well soon, guys. The league definitely misses you guys. I'm sorry to...
Free throw merchant.
Yeah, Taejon with 5, IJ and Tyler tied with 3, Maz and Saad Qureshi with 2.3. And 3-point field goals, we have IJ with 4.3, tied with Kia. Third is 50 and Taejon with 3, and Detective Cody Banks with 2.5. All right. Congratulations to those season leaders. I will say, guys, to everyone else, a lot of the same names popping up on those stats. It'll be interesting to see how many people stay on the leaderboard.
We should talk about who's at the bottom of the points per game and who's like the worst shooter in the league and stuff like that.
Okay, who's the worst shooter in the league right now? I mean, I can probably guess. I can probably guess who's like at the bottom.
Like some of these guys are 0, but like shout out to Monim, a spectacular 10% from the field. If he shot 100 shots, he would make 10 of them.
I feel like this is a really mean part of the podcast, but
any good 3-point percentages?
Akbar.
No.
Well, he's almost
if Monim shot 100
40.
threes, he would only make 14 of them.
Okay. Yassine really just needed a reason to call people out.
Oh yeah, shout out to Akbar. He's having a huge season, 42% from 3.
Let's talk about Akbar for just a second. He had 14 points. His first.
He's not gonna like that we're talking about him.
Say mashallah, everyone who's
Because
watching right now.
I told him like, dang.
8 rebounds, 14 points, 1 assist, 1 steal.
I told him you're going crazy, and he was like,
4
why
for
are you
5,
acting surprised?
8.8 for his 3-point percentage, 5 for 8. What a beautiful day that is. That's like a career day. That's like a. If I had a day like that, you would never hear the end of me talking, which is probably why it's never happened to me. Mashallah, very very fantastic. I love seeing Akbar succeed like that, and may Allah continue to guide him to success. All right, let's. Am I wrong?
Is the brother getting married, or is
No,
he
I'm just
playing
saying.
basketball?
Just saying. Congratulations to him. I mean, I like pointing out when people had good days. All right, so our last bit of the show. Let's get 60 seconds on the clock. You see, you have 60 seconds to tell us your calls for next week and why. Are you ready?
All 4.
All 4.
Oh,
let's quickly look at what the games are before the time starts. Ready?
Lod versus Janine. That's James versus me.
Game
and
1, 9 a.m.
versus Sheikh Jarrah. That's Anwar versus Monim.
10 a.m.
Rafah versus Ramla. That's Farhad versus Ayan.
11 a.m.
L versus Osman. Gaza versus Deir Yassin.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And your time starts in 3, 2, 1. Go.
Game 1, I'm going to pick my team because they're my team and I have faith in them, and I feel that we are going to make the adjustments that we need to in order to win. Although I know it's going to be a tough game. They got some hoopers on their team, and I'm looking forward to the matchup. Game 2, I have Sheikh Jarrah. Kia is going to bounce back, I think, and he's going to have a pretty explosive performance. You know, the line on his shooting is going to be crazy. Like, the over-under is going to be like 35.5 or something, you know.
30 seconds to go.
I'm aware of my time. I'm not worried about it.
Take
You could
it
let
as
10 roll. 10 in silence. That's how good I am at this. All right. Rafah and Ramla, I got Ayan's team winning. Don't even need to explain that one, to be honest with you. And Gaza versus Deir Yassin, I've got Gaza winning. Shout out to El and those guys. They're going to get theirs this week. That 0's going away. And I got 7 seconds to spare.
All right. Well done. All right. My time is starting in 3, 2, 1. Game 1, I think that Yassin's team, this is Lod versus Janine. I think that Yassin's team will walk away with the win here. I think that guys like Hakeem and Ahmed both have a chip on their shoulder. They were a little unhappy with their performance last week. I think that we'll see a big turnout from them. That's not to discount James's team. I have a lot of faith in James's team. I think that they have all the pieces. It'll be very difficult for you guys to stop Idris, and it'll be difficult for you guys to stop guys like James and Detective Cody Banks. Those guys are playing fantastic. Game 2, we have Anwar and Monem. I think Anwar walks away with his first win of the season. I think that they're going to find a way to stop the Mo fence. Game 3, we have Rafah versus Ramla. I'm going with my team. You can't ask me to go against our team. I think it'll be a hard-fought win. Respect to them. I think Ayan and Ian run that team really well, and Chris is fantastic. Last game, I think that
3,
Tajon finishes
2,
strong.
1. That's it. I think Tajon finishes strong.
I think I talked too much for the first one. I haven't done that. I think that I think all the games will be fantastic. 60 seconds is a lot of time to do an analysis, especially when you don't know anything about basketball like I do. All right, is there anything else you have left to say besides we cannot finish any episode without reminding you to keep our brothers and sisters in Palestine in your prayers. Find any way to raise your voice for them. Do not forget about them. They are still there. They're still struggling. And we are always praying for a free Palestine. Continue to donate where you can. If you can't donate, raise your voice. It's the least that we can do. And we ask Allah to bring peace to all of our Muslim brothers and sisters and all the people in the world who are struggling under oppression, those in China, those in Sudan and the Congo. We have not forgotten about you, and we are constantly praying for you, inshallah.
I mean,
anything you have to say?
No. Janine is going to get this bread. That's all I got to say. That's it.
Or do you feel good about yourself when you say things like that?
I don't feel any type of way. I just think we're gonna go get this bread. That's all.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.